intuitive, and welcome to Divinely Decked Tarot and Oracle Reviews done Stacey style. And today we're doing another blind deck date segment, and I'm really excited to introduce you to these two contestants, so to speak, these two daters. It's going to be a really interesting one. I have no idea how this is going to turn out. So without further ado, let's get to it. All right, introducing the Glimmer Walker Tarot and the Queen of the Moon Oracle. So let's see first impressions and see what happens, and if there is any chemistry, any synergy. We're meeting for the drink. We're meeting at the bar. We've given each other our descriptions, sent a picture to one another so we know how to find each other. And let's see where this takes us. So on first glance, they are, I want to say, very different in that, you know, this one is the blues and the golds. This one is more sort of black based, a little more color and fire and energy, and maybe a little more lively energy. But there are similarities here. There are some, I want to say, there's some synergy with the round in the Oracle deck, and the round in this Glimmer Tarot, the Glimmer Walker Tarot. There's also that gold energy. So I feel like they both shine their own lights. They just shine their own lights in different ways. So let's see what each of them kind of looks like together. Oh, interesting. So we have the Knight of Fruit, and in this deck, fruit is pentacles. And we have Release, the Waning Crescent 4. And the first thing that I'm really drawn to here is there is so much synergy in the shape of the primary figure in the card. So we have here, she is bending back, looking at the moon. Her heart is wide open. She's releasing whatever it is that no longer needs to be released. She's shining her light, or no longer needs to be held. And here we have the Knight of Fruit, that Knight of Pentacles energy, who is standing on his, I feel like this is kind of in place of his horse. So this being of light, he's standing on it and he's moving ahead as well. And there is this energy of light that's coming through. So once again, either of them, they are not afraid to show their light. They're friendly with one another. There's no tension here so far. Aesthetically, next peer here, we have the Nine of Light and assessing the first quarter moon. So on first glance, very different in this regard, but let's take a look. This is the Nine of Light, which is the Nine of Wands, and this is a 9 card. So I feel like what this is saying is they come at it from two different directions. Nine of Light or Nine of Wands is persistence, resilience, issues of control, exhaustion, maybe needing to take a break, but not quite sure how to do it. You know, you've come to the end of the line, and this is the last lap kind of energy. And this card says, okay, well, I've just taken this journey. I'm heading to the moon. And yeah, I might be a little bit tired. I'm just kind of assessing, you know, where do I need to take the rest? Where do I need to take the break? I'm still shining my light. They're still shining their light, but they're assessing where things need to be. So I feel like this deck is going to be, you know, I want to say more motivated, or maybe a little more impulsive, or wanting to move forward, that momentum. And this deck is going to be, you know, keeping things a little slower, right? Taking a little more time. Page of Fruit, Page of Pentacles, and Surrender. Waning Crescent 3. What's really interesting is the two figures are actually facing each other here. And I really like that. Also, this figure is standing in between these two beautiful rocks. And this figure has these two, we don't know if they're rocks or if they're trees or bushes, but it's the same formation that is coming up. Looks like a rock formation, mountains, and there's almost this mountain in the void space here as well. This one is looking at their own light from a magnifying glass. This one is meditating into their light. So higher speed energy. This one is more the meditative. This one is more the let's, think things through before we move ahead. And we'll do a couple more here. The Three of Shadows. Shadow in this deck is cups. So we've got the Three of Cups, that celebration, that joy, that companionship, friendship. And here we have growth. So what I'm noticing here is this deck is going to, I want to say, be open to listening to other people, bringing other people into, or bringing other thoughts, other opinions into the readings, into the energy. And this one's a little more solitary. I want to say this is the introvert and this is the extrovert. When we're looking at the growth as well, I'm getting the impression that this deck is going to influence the Glimmerwalker Tarot to be able to say, yes, you can do all of these things, but what does it actually mean? Like, make sure you know what your meaning is. Understand what your why is in this situation. All right, we'll do one more. I'm definitely feeling like we're going to get past the first drink for sure. Here we have 10 of Light, 10 of Wands, and we have a blue moon, the unexpected. So here, the 10 of Light, our sort of protagonist is on their own by themselves. It looks like they're under a tree root or they're in a cave and they're shining their light and working their way to be able to come out of that, to be able to get out into the sunlight in the day. And the unexpected here, I feel like, again, bringing a lot of that roundness. Of course, it's the queen of the moon. So everything is about the moon energy, the orbs, the spherical energy. But when the unexpected happens, they're fine to pair up and partner up. They want to have that connection, that pairing, and that support. So here, this is about burdens. And this one doesn't see it necessarily as a burden, as it sees it as, oh, that's unexpected. What can I learn from this experience? So two different approaches, two different guidance formats that you're going to receive when you work with these decks. Having said that, let's kind of take a peek and see, now that we're moving on past the first drink, we've had our great first impressions. Let's check out the shared vibe. What do these two decks have in common that is really going to, I want to say, kind of make the conversation flow? What is the spark when these two voices blend? Ooh. Yeah, speaking of unexpected, this is a bit unexpected. I wasn't sure how these two were going to fly together. Okay, so we have Justice. Ooh, and Extremes. Okay, so the spark. I feel like this deck, because it takes its time, because it encourages this deck to, I want to say, to slow down, to be present with what is. There is going to be a lot of chemistry and synergy. I feel like the Queen of the Moon Oracle really enjoys working with Glimmerwalker Tarot, brings out in Glimmerwalker Tarot a certain level of passion. And with the Glimmerwalker, this Justice is all about the truth, finding the balance and the harmony. And there's a lot of discernment in this. And so I feel like when we're talking about that unique chemistry, even though this is the deck that wants to go, 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 on the inside, I feel like what it's really seeking is some balance. And I feel like this deck is absolutely going to bring that balance, but it's also going to surprise the Glimmerwalker Tarot with the level of passionate combination that comes through. So when you're working with these two cards in succession, no matter what question you're asking, no matter what you are bringing to the table, I feel that the Queen of the Moon Oracle is going to give you something a bit unexpected, something that you need that is going to help to balance out whatever it is that you feel that you're wanting. And I keep hearing that the unique chemistry and the spark here is that this deck always kind of seems to know what this deck needs without this deck really verbalizing that or saying that right out of the gate. So I definitely feel some delicious chemistry happening here at this time. Now let's see where they might clash. Where might their personalities challenge each other or cause some tension? when you're working with these with this particular combo. And having clash isn't always bad. It's we don't come to the cards because we want the cards to tell us what we want to know. We come to the cards so that we are told what we need to hear. And so I think sometimes a clash can be good. So we have 4 of thunder, which is 4 of swords, and the path. So the clash is that because the Glimmerwalker Tarot is always going to give you guidance that feels direct, in your face, do this now, kind of gives you that impression that there's time, there's some kind of time at stake. I feel like the Queen of the Moon Oracle coming through says, okay, well, but you can be rushed and you can do all of those things, but we need to have a path. And you're saying, but I need a rest. I need to take a break. And this one says, yeah, but you said you wanted to do all of these things. You're coming up with all of this. I've got the path for you. Let's do it. Let's go. You're the one who always wants to go. And you're like, yeah, you don't understand. Go, go, go means sometimes when I need to just kind of slow down and take a moment to think about it. Now you're pushing me to move ahead. All these other times you're telling me, okay, slow your roll a little bit, follow me, let me, sort of navigate the waters. Well, now you're pushing me when I need the rest. So I feel like this pairing at times, especially if you're looking for guidance and you're looking for guidance that involves giving you a broader perspective, you may run into a situation where the Queen of the Moon Oracle is going to not give you opposing information, but like push you when you don't need to be pushed. And I feel like there might be I just keep hearing timing. So there might be a timing factor if you're working with these two card decks in succession. So, wow, that's really interesting. Hidden layers. What unexpected truth does the Glimmerwalker Tarot bring out in the Queen of the Moon and vice versa? Ooh. So, King of Shadow. Yeah, the Glimmerwalker, I feel, is all about truth. Doesn't want to do anything unless it feels completely 150% authentic. And I feel like the Queen of the Moon Oracle simply wants to be seen for all that it has to offer. If we think about the moon in general, the moon is often, like, it's in the dark. Well, not often, it's pretty much always in the dark, except for, the dawn, that dawn time, or, very late dusk time where you might see it before the sun goes down. It wants to be seen for the beauty. It wants to be seen in the sunlight, in the daylight. But the moon, in essence, is all about the night. That's what it's in charge of. It's in charge of the shadow. It's in charge of the things that we don't expect, that we that are hidden under the surface. Things aren't always what they seem. And so I feel the unexpected truth that comes out is that the fact that the King of Shadow always looks for authenticity automatically would not hang out with this deck if they didn't see the authenticity, if they didn't see the beauty. And so I feel that what's coming out here is a beautiful unconditional love, unconditional support, not necessarily getting frustrated maybe at times, but not being angry with the information, really leaning into the information, because at the end of the day, this card deck really just wants to be seen and heard for all that it brings. And it brings the good. It really brings the good. And the King energy, sometimes this deck is used to being really independent, really just going on its own. But it needs a little bit of balance at times. And so I feel these hidden layers really bring about that unconditional love and support. So when you're working with these two decks, that's what I really feel is going to be the primary focus and the primary energy. I love that. Yeah, we're definitely on to, we've gone past appetizers and now we are actually sitting down at the table for some dinner, because this is really cool. So now we're working on future date potential. If these two card decks keep working together, What kind of guidance are they going to co-create? Oh, Six of Light, which is wands, which is victory, success, support for one another, feeling good about one another, and new moon beginnings. And it's a 2. So definitely a lot of partnership, pairing, a portal into new worlds, new approaches, new way of looking at things, harmony coming in to both. This victory, this glimmer walker shines its light and encourages, the Queen of the Moon deck to shine its light in its own way. There's no judgment around that. It's simply, I'm me and you're you, and we love each other for exactly what that looks like. Is this a match made in heaven? I'm not sure. I think I would need to work with the deck a little bit more to figure out if this would be, a true romance, or if this is going to deepen into a lasting friendship where honesty is always on the table. But I definitely feel that there are more dates to come, and I definitely feel that there can be a deeper connection made with the synergy of these cards coming through. Wow. Okay, so that is our blind deck date for this segment of Divinely Decked. And I can't believe it. I kind of purposely tried to just grab ones that wouldn't make any sense, just off the top of my head. And I feel like they actually do, even though, one is a matte finish and one is shiny, and we've got the black and the blue. There was just a lot of synergy here. So I'm excited to see how this pairing is going to, maybe grow on me, and the deeper, what deeper guidance is going to come from it. Please feel free to put comments below about what you thought about this particular combination, any combinations you might be coming up with that are your favorite. Would love to hear from you guys. And otherwise, until I see you for another episode of Black Feather Couture Divining a VIP Life, I send you lots of love and support. We'll see you on the flip side, and transform well. That's our show for today. I hope you enjoyed it. It was great to connect with you guys. Please like, subscribe, and comment for more content like this. And feel free to follow me on Blue Sky for even more content every single day. Can't wait to see you guys next week for another installment of Black Feather Couture Divining the VIP Life.